Start streaming. And there we go. I think. Pull that back up.
We should get the notification here shortly, so that we.
I bet your Boom's still there.
He might be. Here it is. And we're back, and we're live. Do you want me to do an intro? Or do you want to do an intro?
Yeah, dude, you're here finally. You're on the YouTube.
So
I want you to intro.
We're on the YouTubes. Welcome, Internet. We are back with another Officer Breakdown. We are remote, and we're troubleshooting. This is the second time for anyone that actually watched this live. It's the second time we're coming back on. We're going to be covering current events as of, what is this, December 20th?
That's right.
And we're going to be doing some meme reviews and answering questions if they pop into the chat if you're doing this live. And if producer Juan unmutes himself periodically, hopefully he doesn't dick up the stream. So, courtesy.
There will be no more stream dick ups. Got it?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Boom 11 already in the chat.
Perfect.
So, courtesy of Juan, we got this PNG to put both of our faces in here. We're doing this remotely. We can see Bill's beautiful man cave behind himself, and you can see my standard backdrop of my creepy room that I play all my games in. So,
hey, listen, that creepy backdrop of a room is where we shoot all of our YouTube videos.
Is true.
So let's not hate on it, okay?
For anyone that's coming here that has any of our TikTok presence, we've been, I guess, perma-banned from access to our TikTok. Yeah. So for anybody that's watching that stuff, we don't know how to get back in. We're probably going to start a new one. We'll do an introductory video for that.
Yeah, that's super cool.
Check us out on Patreon. We have some more Patreon-only stuff going out soon. I think we have Darman stuff. We make fun of all the comments in Darman videos, so that's going to be released only to Patreon because we say some disparaging things there, I'm sure. That would get us kicked off the internet. So if you guys are interested in that, go check us out on Patreon. We also have merch. We're going to get some more stuff going out. We have some filming we're going to do in the next week and a half. And tomorrow, if you guys are interested, we're doing a Let's Play. I'm not entirely sure what we're going to play. It's going to depend on how many people we have. So without further ado, Bill being in the driver's seat today as we're riding two-man for this officer review, we will break down some videos.
The Mako shark is hunting.
Oh, the Mako shark is in the water.
That's right. So I figured we would start with a nice Mike the Cop throwback here.
Shout out to Mike the Cop.
Yes, shout out. So we can both, I think, say that we were pretty professional at handling drunks. But I really want to see what Mike the Cop does here with this one. So I haven't watched this yet, so it'll be...
Clearly, actually on duty Mike the Cop, totally.
Yo, yeah. Yeah, it's not like this is a video that was made for satire or anything. I'm sure he's like
no way.
He's working. This is a video traffic stop, you know. Mm-hmm.
They were nice enough to hand the video to him?
Yes. I'm sure if this were on TikTok, it'd be fine. It wouldn't get banned. Nothing would happen. But let's see what happens. Let's see what happens.
How many beers have you had?
You have to unmute it. I can't hear it.
You can't hear it?
Yeah, you have to unmute the thing.
I can hear it.
Oh. Can the chat hear it? Play it?
Let me see your driver's license.
I don't hear dick.
Really?
That's a taco. From a KFC bag.
Well, you can describe to me what he's saying. Thank you. I'm reading the chat while we do this. We can hear it. Well, they can hear it, so I can't, so F it.
Yeah, but why can't you hear it?
You're literally pouring beer into a Taco Bell cup.
I'm glad everyone else can.
In front of me.
Thank you, but all I do is say and do stuff on the internet.
That's boom, dude.
Yes, in our civilian lives, that's all Bill and I do, anyways.
Pretty much.
Describe to me what happened here.
So he asked him for his driver's license, and
how many beers have you had?
So he's like, "How many beers have you had?" And he, of course, it's always two. He asks him for his driver's license and decides to pull out a chicken, KFC chicken sandwich. And then he takes the top off of his cup and just decides to pour a little drinky drink in there.
Hey. So, that's the second half of his drink.
Yeah, second half. He had to, conceal the rest of his beer in his Taco Bell cup or whatever that was. So, but I like the old. This probably Mike the cop might have been still a cop when he made this.
He might have still legit been a cop
because he's a little fresh shaven, looks a little
clean shaven look.
Yeah. So that one was just funny. That was a good start.
I like it,
dude. This one's gonna be tough if you can't hear it.
I'm ready.
So this guy.
For this correctly, because being a former police officer or someday a current
this
police
guy,
officer, you know if you lie in this situation, you go directly to jail.
No,
yeah.
I get a hold of
Hang
the
on.
chief from Richland Township, which is Glenmont.
It's Richland Township.
So this is a former corrections deputy facing a felony charge of impersonating a police officer in order to direct traffic. So old boy was in a cruiser, like a retired cruiser, like a black and white,
old Crown Vic,
yeah, with the lights, like the spotlight. I think he might have put lights in it, and then he was just kind of chilling here on the street. He's wearing like a police vest. He's got the whole deal.
Huh.
There's like 5 or 6 officers that show up and tear this guy a new one.
I bet, dude. Were you there? We had a certain midnights officer that was there. Oh, I don't think you were there because I was still on C shift.
Oh boy!
And we had it was our neighborhood security. It was for one of these apartment
complexes.
Oh yeah. Real heavy set guy. He was there.
The guy in the 20s.
It was the guy in the 20s. Yes, it was the guy in the 20s.
He drove a Crown Vic.
He drove a Crown Vic. Yeah, and
I remember that guy.
I don't remember if he was trying to detain somebody. I don't remember what his deal was.
Probably. Sounds like something he would do.
Anyways, this certain supervisor that will remain unnamed totally bitched him out and was like threatening him with, arresting him for impersonating a police officer. Yeah, I was like, damn. It's the only time I've actually seen it in the flesh. Normally, the people weren't this stupid. This is a normal, but I don't know. It is Ohio, so.
Yeah. We'll play this. We'll play this and.
Yeah. So it's a township police department or
the village? Village in Richland Township. Yeah.
Okay.
Say village.
So yeah, they found him asleep in a black and white Crown Vic with the lights on. The vehicle appeared to have been part of a traffic detail that had gone on earlier.
So was he participating in a traffic detail or no?
I think he was trying to. And then somehow his car ended up here parked and he fell asleep. But pretty much the next few minutes are just going to be these cops berating this dude because he.
I bet, yeah.
He tries.
I would berate him, yeah.
He tries to say that he talked to the police chief and the police chief gave him permission. So it's pretty funny.
Yeah, yeah, that's exactly how that went down.
Yeah, we'll listen to it here. Well, those of us who can hear it will listen.
Yeah, those of us that can hear it, not me, but everyone else.
But you have no ID from them, all right?
No.
And have you ever been sworn in?
This officer's body posture says
No,
everything.
I'm asking you a direct question. Have you been sworn in by
It's
them?
very important you answer this correctly because being a former police officer or someday a
Or
current
this
police
officer's
officer,
body
you know
Yes.
if you lie, you go directly to jail.
No, I'm not.
So I'm going to put that right
listen,
out.
I'm not.
So if you are telling me you are a police officer right now,
Bro, you know you're screwed when you get you start counting on your fingers.
I was about to say, you start getting this.
Dude, You're screwed.
Wow, dude. Wow.
You're so screwed.
So you are not
This
a
is nuts.
police officer.
I have spoke with the chief.
That's not what I'm asking you.
Okay.
I'm asking you one question. Are you a commissioned police officer through the state of Ohio?
Oh, he's giving him the business.
Yeah.
That's not what
That's
I'm
not
asking.
what we're asking you.
I'm explaining to you. I have
No, you're not. You're not answering the question. You're avoiding the question. It's very simple.
Wow.
Are you a sworn police officer?
I don't understand the point. Like, I don't understand. You're not getting paid for it.
Not currently.
Okay. That's the
Not that,
question.
well,
So they go on. He's
Like,
he's a security officer with like a security company that's run by an actual police officer. So I don't get it.
I legitimately understand the want to have the prestige of like dudes in the military. Like stolen valor in the military, at least you get cool points if anyone actually believes that you're in the military. But like faking like you're a cop, like nobody likes you.
Yeah.
You're not gaining any like I guess if you're looking for like a random badge bunny, maybe, but they're gonna know you're not legit.
I think this was relatively recent, and if you're pretending to be a cop in today's day and age,
you're an idiot.
You're an idiot, dude. There's so many other things you can pretend to be. Why are you pretending to be a cop?
Pretend to be rich, or like pretend. I don't know. Rent a car and pretend to be cool. Like it's just not on a high priority list of things. That's stupid.
There's a little bit of video left, but pretty much they keep going, and like he keeps saying, "Well, I have a certificate and I've cleared it with the police chief," and the cops are like, "We don't care. If you can't show us an ID, you're going to jail." Because you're all dressed up like a police officer here.
What an idiot.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty awful. So, then there's this one. An actual police officer. So, this is the lieutenant. And then this is an NYPD rookie at the holiday party. And so this is obviously just a screen grab from the video. The video's pretty raunchy. Like, she's in a schoolgirl uniform. All up in his business.
Bro, he's got both hands on, my dude. Like, this is...
I don't want to show the video because it's pretty nasty. We're
going to save a link for research later, right?
I think we all know that police departments are pretty desperate, but I didn't know that being a stripper was now like a prereq for...
Bro.
Because the way she was... This wasn't her first lap dance. I'm just going to say that.
This not her first... Yeah, hey, man.
Yeah,
more power to her. You know what?
Yeah.
I'm all about it.
So I stole this from the New York Post, and you can go click the link in their bio if you want to watch the...
The HR debacle happening in slow motion.
So this person has never, ever, 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 ever dealt with a police department or an internal investigations. 2 consenting adults are under investigation for something off duty. Really? It's Christmas. Get over it.
No.
Yeah, but when it's your supervisor, it's a little different.
The term conflict of interest...
Yeah, it's not like you work at the grocery store and this is the produce manager.
If you were like a manager, or like I would even argue, like, let's say you worked at like a firm, right?
Yeah.
And you're over here trying to like work your way up in this firm, and you're willing to go, reduce yourself to lap dances to try to advance your career. That's one thing.
Yeah.
You're pulling a Kamala. That's one thing. Okay, but like. This will directly affect investigations. This will directly affect personnel allocations.
How can
this might affect internal investigations?
Yeah,
like,
I mean, it's
write-ups, the like. It's just it's specifically in the military or the paramilitary organizations. Like, you sometimes are making life or death decisions to send people to stuff, and it's kind of why nepotism's a thing that shouldn't be happening in a lot of these departments. Same thing with, like, again, if in like the policy at our department was, if you were in a relationship with someone, you had to disclose it, but you weren't allowed to be part of the same chain of command
at all. Like
not even close.
Couldn't be same side of town. Didn't want you on the same shift. Like,
nope. And honestly, most of the times the way they would fix it is they would push one of them into a specialized unit.
Yeah.
So that they would never cross paths from a chain of custody,
bro, it happened often, and enough, and and it's not just policing though. Let's be honest. Like, I saw that.
I agree with that, especially the pulling a Kamala part.
I saw this crap. Yeah, every day at Costco. Like, it was, It isn't just policing, but it's a lot different when it's could be your supervisor.
And again, like I said, if it's man, I'm trying to think about this. I got a lot of politician examples of this, but
can't imagine.
If you're trying to work your way up into the White House, it's one thing, but it's a completely different story when you're making, like I said, life or death decisions for people.
Yeah.
You cannot allow your personal relationships with them to cloud your judgment. So.
All right, so This one was
Police
officer-involved
post.
shooting. Yeah, dude. They had some good stuff today.
Shout out.
Officer-involved shooting in San Francisco. There was a man threatening people with a knife.
Only a knife.
Only a knife, yeah. Only a knife. He charges the officers, and both a handgun and a less lethal shotgun rounds are deployed, and the suspect ultimately ended up deceased. So you won't be able to hear this, but I'm going to let this play because I'm assuming he's the primary officer, does a great job talking, like trying to talk this guy down, and it just ended up going bad, which can show you.
Bro, look at this hallway also. Like, I want to point out how fucky it is
Yeah, it's
to
awful.
do anything in a hallway.
And I don't know where he is in this yet, so we'll see what happens. But less lethal shotgun there. I'm assuming, I can't see it, but he either has his hand on his gun or he has his gun out. I'm not positive yet. But this guy does a lot of talking to try and like calm this guy down, but you can tell in the guy's voice it ain't working.
I stay here is because if we go down there, there's probably right there to the left.
Come on, motherfucker!
Hey, Armani.
Shut the fuck up!
Armani, we just want to talk to you.
Don't disturb me!
Armani, nobody wants to hurt you. Nobody wants to hurt you, okay?
Don't disturb me!
Armani, we just want to talk to you.
Yeah, Boom 11 gets it. I'm nervous looking at that hallway too, man. It's so skinny.
Leave me the fuck alone!
Boy, 1-4, I'm in a 408 stage.
You also have like 360 degrees of residences with thin ass walls. Not a fun place to be.
We'll wait for the 13 to get here. That will have more bodies.
So Josh, you'd be really proud of this guy right now. He just called for EMS to stage and then more officers to show up. And he just said, we'll wait here for more bodies.
Respect. Man, look at this guy.
You'd be proud.
Look at this guy.
Unit to unit, boy, 14 on to 13 on.
Oh, that was loud.
Can you guys bring a shield up with you? Armani!
Oh,
Armani!
hell no.
Stay back! Stay back! Stop! Boy 14 on, code 33, shots fired in the hallway. Armani! Let me see your hands!
All right, that's enough. We all know what happens.
They're pretty lucky. They're pretty lucky he only had a knife, to be honest.
And he stopped running.
Yeah.
Because, to be honest, he caught them off guard. Like,
yeah.
He stopped, like, right here in the hallway, and that was enough time for them. But
And, I mean, I give it to them that they didn't even walk up right to the door. They gave themselves some, like, standoff distance in the hallway, which is a good idea. You want to have eyes on.
He was, like, around the corner over here, and he came.
They had eyes on the door.
Yeah.
And I'm all for it. It's just like there's no good way.
No.
There's no good way to. It's kind of like a pillbox on a hill. Like, how do you approach that?
Yeah.
With bodies, like that's the only. Eventually, I guess we're all gonna run at the same time, and I guess draw straws. That's kind of the situation here, and that's what a lot of people don't realize. Like,
and
when
they stopped and they were communicating and they were on the radio. They were trying to get more people. They didn't just go up to the door and like try and kick their way in or get him to come out. It was like, and that's not a small knife. Like, you can see it laying in the hallway.
I'd be curious to see what call text was for this too. If they don't have.
It just said he was threatening people with the knife. So I'm assuming he was yelling in the hallway, or maybe he was in his doorway, and someone had to have seen the knife for them to call and say that.
It happens all the time, dude. You'd be amazed at how often this happens. It's so stupid.
Yeah. And honestly, most of the time it doesn't turn into a shooting. But I mean, when it does,
like I said, I'm glad both those guys were able to walk away from that. That's super unfortunate for the guy that got shot in that. He's probably got a lot of messed up stuff going on.
I really like that they tried the less lethal shotgun instead of a taser. I'm just saying.
Yeah, just because honestly, a taser would have tickled that dude.
Well, and the way he was moving and running, and it looked like he had like a jacket on. Yeah. If you stand there and shoot that taser, and it doesn't, it doesn't automatically stop him, and he keeps running at you, you're probably looking at some gnarly gashes on your skin.
Yeah. Shout out to Mr. Martinez. I like that you're joining us here in the chat. We are currently breaking down footage today. We're covering current events, and we are going to probably we did a meme already. We had a nice lieutenant getting a lap dance from a rookie.
That's right. That's a good meme.
New York Post.
NYPD, baby. New York Post.
Yeah, and so we're doing some body cam breakdowns and stuff like that. So that's what we're doing for today. I believe tomorrow we're doing a live stream. We haven't picked a game yet because we don't know who's going to be part of the OnlyCops fire team.
Are we playing Halo again?
I don't know. It's either going to be that or Phasmophobia or... there's SWAT 4 or SWAT 3. One of the two is co-op. I think SWAT 4 is co-op. We're looking at maybe trying to do that because they had some pretty cool footage of that game. So, shout out to y'all.
Is that the one that producer Juan sent us?
Yes, that's the one he sent us. So it's pretty cool if you guys want to check it out. I'm going to see if we end up playing that. We'll see. It's not Steam supported, so I don't trust like random third-party like Russian sites, but we'll see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So what's on this video?
I don't know about all that. So
police activity.
I know you and I have watched this one before. This was in Texas. Some kind of high-speed chase. Air One was there. This dude ends up pulling a gun and shooting a trooper, but it's worth talking about because there's some pretty poor tactics. And I think it was more so this guy just got hyped up, but it's pretty gnarly.
Also, Boom 11 said that he is preparing for the VR experience, so we're holding you to that. Again, we have witnesses for that on Phasmophobia, so if we're ready for that.
Oh,
and yeah, Juan said SWAT 4 was co-op, so you might be looking at that and see the game looked badass. So.
All right.
Texas State Troopers. It's a Crown or it's a Chrysler 300, guys. Baby.
With tinted windows.
Hey, you know this is gonna be fucked.
And you can just tell by the vehicle that this pursuit has been going for a while. Cause
there's write-ups. There's write-ups coming from this pursuit.
No, dude. These were troopers.
That's true. It's
no
troopers. They don't get write-ups. Oh.
So
this is what we...
Yeah.
Oh, pause it real quick.
So he came...
So if you see a guy digging in a car like that, that's what we call a furtive movement. It's not like he's with his hands up or anything like that. So
and you could see it on the helicopter. The helicopter was telling them, "Hey, he's getting into a defensive position and he's digging under the seat." So the helicopter was telling those guys that, and he still decided to get out of his car and walk all the way up here.
Yeah. So one of the things we're really lucky. I always get heartburn when we break these things down because, like I said, this guy had the stones to be there on that day to go do hood rat cop stuff. But that being said, most of us are privileged enough to have training that would tell you number one, distance is your friend. If it's going to be a gunfight, distance is your friend. If you're the better trained individual, the further away you get, the more likely you are to win that gunfight.
And I wonder if he was unsure about his ability to shoot from back here.
And that might be part of it. And I think the other issue here is, like, you got to think, man, if this guy's not already going, this is a high-risk stop. Like, let's be honest. It's a pursuit. There's a high-risk stop, right?
You can't tell me there's just one cop and the car looks like that. You can't tell me there's one officer in this pursuit. Like,
so
ain't no way.
I wouldn't be in a too big a hurry to get close to that car. I've had less sketchy cars that I've had a lot more heartburn about approaching. But you never know. I don't know what he saw at this moment that made him think that this was a safe car to be approaching, especially the front of the car.
Honestly,
just because it's stopped doesn't mean it's disabled.
He was probably just over it, dude. Like, this was probably...
And maybe that I can understand. But
but you get stuck in that, like, hey, we got to end this right now.
Yeah, but
and then you do some not great tactical things.
So for anybody watching this that decides that they want to go do dumb hood rat stuff, don't leave cover.
So, and then there's this. This is what kills me, because if there was another officer who probably had a rifle, since you can't see him in the picture, there's zero reason for that guy to get away from his car. Yeah. In my opinion. But...
Troop down.
So then the trooper that shot him?
Yeah.
Troops down, got a handgun.
Oh, yeah. He took a bad shot.
So he ran in. He's got a rifle.
Small caliber weapon.
Bro, I tell you what,
enough. We don't need to
keep a tourniquet on you, my
good.
guys. So something, and I like to bring this stuff up. Let's see, Fortnite player, he's jumping and shooting. He's
trying to dodge that bullet, bro.
Yeah, as always, given the absolute dime piece of commentary.
Jumping
here.
and shooting. I'm sure him playing Fortnite was the crime. Probably.
So, if you're gonna carry a concealed weapon or a firearm to protect yourself as a civilian, or if you're a cop going out doing hood rat stuff, keep tourniquets, keep chest seals. If you can make holes on somebody and you plan to possibly get in a gunfight, you need to be able to save yourself. That's almost more important than having the gun, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because even in an instance like a car accident, which is considerably more likely of an injury for you to have to experience or interact with, having tourniquets, Israeli bandages, gauze, all that stuff, non-sterile gloves, it's not expensive. It's a lot cheaper than a gun.
And
it's
not hard to learn how to use either.
Yeah, for under $150, like, you'd be amazed at how robust. You could probably have like a bag with all of that stuff in it. You know, scissors, like surgery grade scissors that can cut through clothes and denim and all that stuff. Like,
I think
have
you can buy
first aid equipment.
I think you can buy full on med kits now for about $100 that have.
Warrior Poet Society, shout out here to the Warrior Poet Society. But they offer one that you put on your ankle. It's pretty dope.
You and that shirt.
Hey man, I love this shirt. Don't hate.
I know you do.
it's my favorite, one of my favorite shirts.
I'm in the spirit, bro.
Hey, I like it. I just saw it for now.
I'm in the holiday spirit, so.
So, anyways, like I said, keep first aid kits on you.
Yeah.
I don't know. Don't leave cover. If you can avoid it, don't leave cover.
I don't want to we're not going to sit here and shit on this guy, but if there's another officer with a rifle, I'm standing behind, crouched behind my engine block.
Yeah. Anyways, we'll see what's going on here.
Room.
What Antifa nonsense is going on here?
So this is NYPD patrolling the subway. They on-view someone steal a cell phone, and these boys run them down and arrest them. It's pretty awesome.
Oh, dang.
He's
some
moving,
stairs.
Dude.
A door. Oh, bro, he's going.
Yep.
Bruh.
And he's done.
Bruh. He was arrested by some stairs. Work on your fitness, my dude. That's what we called in football the grass snake.
Yeah.
When the field snake got you.
It got you.
Man, it was nothing you could do about it.
Got you.
Bro, shout out to NYPD for having a dude that's in shape. And shout out to that staircase. You're a real hero.
Yeah, no kidding.
Officer Gonzalez. This is already starting bad. If it's already starting with this guy, he skipped leg day.
Hey, we got a leg day post coming up, dude.
Boom 11 already knows, man.
So this one, it's pretty badass, I'm not going to lie. So
where's that? Is this police post again?
Yeah. So SWAT officers chasing a shooting suspect pops out with a rifle and a gunfight ensues. It says at one point, suspect is between officers on either side. Officer Gonzalez is the body worn that we're seeing. Recognizes the issue and pulls back behind a wall with his partner so the heavy side can work the problem. I'll let you figure out which the heavy side is.
Come right at us. Come right at us. Right here. Right here. Right here. Right here.
Oh, I saw this.
Yeah.
I have some very strong words to talk about this. I have an interesting point here.
Cease fire! Cease fire!
Yep. That's that.
So, interesting point here. So there's Michael shared this with me, and Michael and I actually had a pretty cool conversation on Discord about this. So what ends up happening, I guess if I could draw y'all a picture of what happens on this thing, they end up getting a really bad crossfire situation.
Yeah, it was bad. You could see the other officers behind them.
There was 3 different people. One of the officers took shrapnel to the arm from a fragmented round. and I think a civilian took one to the foot. One of the things that happens in this video, and this specific camera angle doesn't show it. There's the camera angle. Both of these cars, basically, one pulls up behind it and one pulls up in front of it, and then there's these guys that approach on foot
from the side.
The officers that pulled up on foot are getting yelled at by these SWAT officers to back up.
Yeah.
And because these guys, and they're hearing him say back up, but they're so like zoned in, and I get it, it's a shooting suspect. Like, you're probably pretty amped. I would be lying. Yeah, I would be lying if I didn't say that I had experience being really stuck in it and it taking a second for my brain to work when you're that amped. However, he was giving very clear and consistent instructions to back up because they all realized they were in a crossfire situation. And because these officers didn't back up, when this guy pulls out with a gun and they had to start shooting, they're not going to just stand there and die. They had to shoot at this guy, but they had to shoot in a crossfire situation that was avoidable.
And let's be honest, dude. If SWAT was there, you and I knew where our place was.
Yeah, we're backing up. Yeah, I was like, yeah. All right, senpai, I'm holding the door or whatever. I'm like daddy holding the flashlight. You know, like I'm holding the flashlight for daddy. You know what I mean? Like,
I'll be on the perimeter.
Sure, I got you, big guy.
Call me if you need me, coach.
You need a pair of handcuffs?
Hey, I got you. You need me to transport? I got you.
Yeah. So, and kind of know your level of involvement. It's kind of the same thing with senior officers. You had a couple senior officers, or we had heat officers that if this was the experienced officer that nobody was doing, we got off the radio. We stopped giving commands. It was their show.
Yep.
And then a lot of times it's just whoever's the most there and the most comfortable with the situation or knows the most about the situation, they're going to call the shots.
Yeah.
There's been times where it was Gil's call and I was there to hold the flashlight. There was times where it was my call and I was there. You know, I basically instructed everyone else to do that. We had plenty of times. And it's not an ego thing. It's like, okay, who's best equipped to deal with this?
And sometimes it's not the senior officers, because there was a call that you and I went to on a different side of town on New Year's Eve.
Oh, that's right.
Where there was an officer-involved shooting that we were not part of. We just got there faster than everyone else on that side of town, it seemed like. And we hop out, and there's officers who have more experience than us and a sergeant who are just like froze. So Josh and I just start yelling back and forth. He gets out, I get my rifle out, and we end up running this call and taking this guy into custody. He wasn't part of it, but take this guy into custody. And then the sergeant's like, oh, you guys are from that side of town? Get out of here. So we're like...
I'm BBs. I won't do this paperwork. Yeah, I didn't point my gun at anybody.
I'm out.
Yeah. So, like,
it's not our call. We just heard it on the radio. We went to it. We shouldn't have... someone should have told us what to do when we got there. And they didn't, and we made the split-second decision to say, "Okay, it's ours now."
Yeah.
So,
and it might have kept us safe. It might keep you safe. It might not. You just kind of have to know your limits. Boom 11 says, "I feel like it would be less of a danger to join the army instead of being a cop nowadays." I will say this:
not with this government.
I think. Well, there's a bigger conversation to be had there, but I think. I had a conversation. I had one of my sergeants. He was in the reserves, and he'd been deployed like 2 or 3 times. And he was saying that the difference in between being a cop in like a crappy city and like this is talking about like having to do high risk warrants, having to do high risk arrest, having to deal with drug interdiction and stuff like that. He said the problem with being a cop was you just didn't know what you were really walking into, your environment was very not use of force friendly. He said, depending on where you were going, they said, man, if it moved, you shot at it in the army, or you know, you could kind of assume everyone was a bad guy, and they gave like warning shots and stuff like that. And most of the vehicles that they're sitting in are bulletproof. Some of them now, like they have MREPs that are IED proof, effectively. And he's like, you're at best have a ballistic vest that'll stop a handgun round. Your car,
if you're lucky,
is a glorified taxi.
Yeah.
You know, with some extra stuff in it.
And you have to assume, like, I hate to say it, but you have to assume everyone's a threat until they tell you that they're not in policing.
Yeah, so but basically, he was just explaining that it's a more, I don't want to say it's more dangerous because again, it's pretty rare that I have an organized group of dudes with AKs trying to hurt me.
Right.
Which it's a high likelihood depending on where you're deployed in the Army or in the military.
Yes, very
but
different.
He said that it was sketchier because it's basically you're playing paper, scissors, rock with who you're pulling over. You don't know which one's going to be the guy. Because I did run into the guy with the AK trying to hurt me periodically, but it was pretty rare and few and far in between. And most of the time, these guys were way less motivated because worst case scenario is a little bit of jail time.
Yes.
For when you're in the military and you're occupying a
country.
foreign country or something, it's just very different.
Yeah.
I think the level of danger is higher in the military. It's the unknown that you're walking into oftentimes with it. And it's the fact that you have to make all these decisions yourself.
Yeah.
Is the biggest thing he said.
And you're on the hook. There's no, like... you have chain of command, but there's no, like, well, someone told me to do it. No, you made the decision.
Yeah, there's a lot of situations there where, you're given a task and you just accomplish that task, and that's your job in the military. You're in fact, they oftentimes frown on the idea of creative thought or trying to think outside the box. You have a handful of people who are allowed to do it. You have NCOs and things of that nature that are really your problem solvers at the squad level, but like
otherwise just do what you were
most of the time there's a guy that's telling you exactly what to do all the time. Here it's such a wild, organic situation, and I really do feel bad for new officers nowadays that are walking into what's probably the most contentious time in the history of any police department to try to be a cop, and everything you're doing is being measured. There are NFL recruits that are getting less scrutinized than cops right now, and being held accountable. I can't think of a single group of people that you're not allowed to fart without people having an opinion on it. You are not allowed to have someone try and kill you without everyone evaluating whether they were really trying to kill you or if it just looked like they were trying to kill you. It's a weird space. If you haven't experienced
it's 24/7 because you're in when it doesn't matter what you're doing in uniform. You better be doing it right or good luck.
And like I said, Bill and I have both transitioned into civilian life, and it's hard for me now to explain or articulate what that kind of stress is to people. I was like, worst case scenario is I disappoint my boss now.
Yeah.
Or worst case scenario is there's like a deadline I don't meet. But like
I have no stress now, dude. Stress is not really a thing that I even equate to.
You have bills, you have stuff like that. This was a very real. I was nervous about. Making national news and someone trying to firebomb my house. Like, it's just a very different world that you live in there. So that's my 2 cents on that. There's good comment, Boom 11. You're always dropping the dime pieces on there when we're not playing Phasmophobia.
Oh my god.
Hopefully Herbert doesn't come join us today.
Quit that right now.
What's this?
So this one is body cam of a bank robbery suspect trying to take an officer's gun and then trying to use a woman as a human shield.
Nice.
So
we'll
let this one roll.
Stay where you're at. Stay where you're at.
That's money all over the ground.
Nope. Police body cameras showing a frightening chain of events when a bank
in a Dodge Ram.
Here in Ohio. Police chasing that suspect into
and it's in Ohio.
As the stolen money goes flying. The officer and the
There's a pretty low speed, high drag foot chase here.
Oh, grabs the gun.
Oh.
Suspect runs off, later grabbing a woman and using her as a human shield.
So pause it real quick.
The officer then wrestled the suspect
it's almost
away.
over.
He was eventually
okay. There's really nothing left. That's all we got. That was it was a news clip, so it wasn't like full on body cam.
Man, someone reaches for a gun like that, I'm gonna be honest. If this guy would have come out and gouged his eyes out with his thumbs, I wouldn't have had a problem with it.
So
you are in that point. You go from trying to do your job and arresting someone to someone trying to kill you, genuinely kill you.
I'm surprised because this was a news clip that they didn't honestly throw that officer under the bus more. They just said, "Oh, he grabbed the gun and then the suspect ran away," and they didn't show any of that in the video. They just showed him grab the gun. So we don't know what the officer did. I don't know if he punched him or pushed him or what
I'll tell
happened,
you what, man.
But yeah, dude, I don't care if you don't train any jiu-jitsu, you better train weapon retention.
At the very least, have weapon retention and have a good holster. This is an argument for.
And he had a
legit Safari Land.
Yeah,
something legit. Yeah.
So thank goodness for that, but
yeah,
your holster's not everything if you can't.
So
Keep a
Boom
hold of
11
it.
saying most cops are getting killed just sitting in cars. We did see a huge uptick in that when we were still on patrol.
That's why we stopped going anywhere.
Yeah.
Ever. We sat in our car in a dark parking lot with only one way in, so we could see if someone drove in or not.
Yeah, and kind of like he's saying, like I jokingly called it the monkey suit, but like when you put the uniform on, and I even had this explanation. I was explaining this to my wife one time that like it was almost like a ritual that like I physically and from a personality changed when I put my uniform on versus when I took it off. And it's not an ego thing. It's like a stress thing.
Yeah.
Because you'll put it on
Yes.
and it's probably, I guess I'll equate it to like before a football game. If anybody's ever played sports before, if you ever played like a full contact sport, where you put your helmet on it, and it's weird because you'll see guys like hyping themselves up. It's different when you're a kid and you're excited about playing football. When you're a person, like cops very rarely die in like really pleasant ways on duty, if ever.
Fact.
And so like you're kind of preparing yourself for violence, like really hateful, ignorant violence, and it's a weird. You can imagine we're pulling all of these clips on a random day in the middle of the year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And
so this was
them,
you were inundated with this stuff. It's all the time. This is the easiest thing to find content on, and so it is like putting a target on you. That's the best. Yeah, as Boom 11 said it. It's when you're putting that uniform on. It's a very different. A lot of people don't understand, and they're like, "Well, they're different and they're dehumanized." Yeah, you kind of have to do it to yourself because that's the environment that's been created around it. And part of that's officer driven. You got a lot of ego guys that are out there being idiots. Like I said, but really now, because of the way the news is handled the past couple of years, and because of the way that certain interest groups on both sides of the fence have really created this really toxic conversation around law enforcement, you just assume in almost every single interaction you may or may not be getting in a fight, or again, it escalates kind of past that. It's a hard headspace to get into. Because like I said, boxers only fight, I don't know, twice a year, 3 times a year, maybe 4 times a year is a lot of
the
fighting.
Good ones only fight once or twice a year.
Yeah. If you're an amateur fighter, you're probably fighting more than that. But there's rules. There's referees, there's rounds, and typically there's like a warm-up and a cool-down to a fight. Like, you could be in the middle
controlled. It's very
delicious,
controlled.
I've been in a delicious ham sandwich before, and then like 2 seconds later, you're in a foot chase. And
then you throw up your ham sandwich later.
Yeah. You change out your undies and do all that stuff. So it's just different. I thought it's a, I don't know. I'm glad I'm not in it anymore, and God bless anyone still doing it.
Agreed. This one is specifically for you, Josh. Admin. We appreciate all the hard work you do. We are all a family here. And this is me. This is literally the cartoon version of me rolling my eyes so hard that it looks like I'm possessed.
Yeah, having a seizure or something like that.
Yep.
Yeah, it's pretty. What used to kill me in a lot of these is you would always have like these community outreach things.
Yeah.
Where it was like they were giving like presents to somebody. Santa Cops was really cool, and like again, I'm very thankful for all these programs. I think they're important to humanizing the badge, but it's like, this guy is cosplaying as a cop, putting a uniform on that probably never gets dirty,
and getting a lap dance at the Christmas party.
Sure. And like, I kid you not, the second he gets done handing out those presents, he's like, how many cops can I piss off in the next 10 minutes? Because he's over there like, nope, you don't get vacation, you don't get training, I'm gonna not fire this super crappy cop that's making everyone's life miserable. But it's the weirdest, like,
he's like, I did my one good thing for the year. 364 days of shit is coming.
Yeah, so for the guys out there, it's the girl that broke your heart and has the nerve to go post some selfie about, single and ready to mingle, and then for the ladies out there, it's the total fuckboy that totally played you and is making a duck face selfie for his new Tinder profile. Like, it's a weird.
It's not a new Tinder profile. It was always there.
It was the same one. Yeah, it's just you happen to find it.
Yeah, you found it.
Hey guys, do you mind if we drop? Yeah, Michael, if you want to pop in, you can pop in on the Discord day as long as it doesn't move my head. Wait,
no.
It might move the thing. You can drop comments.
We will
but I
lose
forgot.
Josh's face.
Yeah, you'll lose my face, and it'll make Gilliam mad. So
it'll make everyone mad because I'll just shut the stream off.
Oh look, he was able to get in without messing it up.
Well, I'm not touching anything on my side.
Are you in? I see you. Is it in?
Wow.
I don't know. He's in here. Either way, we'll keep going.
Well, I can't see it, so you're gonna have to moderate that side.
I'm looking at it.
Yeah, this one pretty much speaks for itself. This is why you don't skip leg day. Shout out producer Juan. So they try and drive off, and he says,
"Is he legit pushing that truck?"
Yeah. He sure did. He sure did.
How emasculated do you have to feel after this? Like I legit would feel. I'd be scared of this guy. This is almost police brutality.
Yeah, he
on this poor little Ford Ranger.
He and you can't really hear what the person is saying, but it sounds like they're very frantic and panicked, and you can't really tell what the driver is saying. But he just says nope, 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 and he just shoves that thing, and then he reaches in and takes the key. It's pretty awesome. He deserves a shout out. And that was in 2019. So.
Hey, Michael, I believe you're in the chat now.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, cool. I was trying to talk and it wasn't working.
That happened to me earlier.
How do you look at this cop and not crap yourself after he stops his moving truck? That's what I'm saying. I would legit have shit my pants there. That would have freaked me out.
Well, first of all, I wouldn't have tried to drive away when I saw this cop.
That's true.
To begin with, when I saw that guy, I would have been like, you know what? Here's my keys. Here's the title to my truck.
Here's the title to my truck.
Here's my wallet.
Here's my firstborn. Please just don't eat me.
Yes, just don't eat me.
Bro, I already like where this is going.
So Santa and his elf are both undercover police officers. They were at a Target. I guess this was in 2020, and they saw some guys trying to steal a car in the parking lot. And this is what happened.
Get him, Santa!
Bro.
Boom. And then there's this guy.
You will never live it down.
The elf pointing the gun is my favorite part.
That's what does it for me.
That's my favorite part of the whole thing. It's just the elf who's just please don't. I'm in an elf costume. I don't want to have to do this right now. I would just be mad, honestly, that somebody made me do work while I was dressed as Santa Claus or an elf.
Exactly.
That's pretty metal.
That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah.
Dude. It's
so. As Boom 11 said here, that is some SCP level of shit right there.
Yeah.
He's an anomalous Santa going in to go be a goon and arrest dudes.
Yeah.
And then Mr. I don't skip leg day that's able to just fucking press lift a truck.
Just look. Look on the bright side though. That is going to be a great story to tell at the jail. Yeah, I got to
by Santa. I don't know, man. I feel like that gets you beat up at jail.
Yes. You're getting. If you say an elf wearing red and white stockings arrested me, you deserve to get beat up in jail. That's all I'm saying.
Boom says Santa giving you the glove. You're on the naughty list, boy.
What do you want for Christmas? Some hot lead?
Instead of coal,
you're
gonna get a Glock.
I mean, I would take a Glock for Christmas. I'm just saying.
I would take a Glock.
I mean,
not in the way that he was giving it. But,
hey, if Santa's gonna bring me a Glock for Christmas, I would be very happy. So
you're not wrong.
This one's pretty gnarly. This is
Please post. Shut up.
Hey, look, it's in South Carolina.
Hey,
So, just a little south of our boy there.
Hey.
But
is that the better Carolina or is it not? I don't know.
I would say no.
Carolina. North Carolina is the better Carolina.
I would say North Carolina is probably the better Carolina.
Is that a like wrong side of the train tracks kind of thing? Like y'all don't talk about the South Carolinians?
I think South Carolina.
We only care about Myrtle Beach.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. I think South Carolina is a little on the trashier side of things, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I've only been there like 2 or 3 times, but
they're
like West
disparaged
Virginia from Virginia.
Oh, damn! He went there.
I don't know anything about the Northeast or the northern areas there, so
We're not going to talk about the Northeast, so or the Midwest. We're staying away from the Midwest.
Oh yeah. Don't mess with those guys. They'll kill you.
Oh my God, Santa kicking ass.
I mean,
Santa and his hit list.
I'm not going to argue because I'm from the Midwest, so I'm going to take that as a
yeah.
Okay,
nice
to
compliment.
the video.
I'm going. So, guy was involved in a hit and run. They try to traffic stop, and he gets out and starts firing. And let me tell you, he was rolling with probably his whole gun safe in there. Because when you see this, it's wild.
Oh, God dang!
Just watch.
Just in the posture that I saw him. This was for a hit and run.
Yes.
Bruh.
He had outstanding warrants.
Okay.
That makes a little bit more sense.
Bro, did anyone die here?
I don't think so.
I don't know how. Goodness great. Bro, this is like the stormtrooper of all bad guys.
I'll have to read the post again. So
you can see the from the barrel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He goes back into the truck and pulls out a handgun.
Good God.
And then he goes back in the truck.
Is he from Texas?
It was in the Carolinas, bro.
South Carolina, my dude.
No, that doesn't mean he's not from Texas.
The classy Carolina, right?
I'm not going to South Carolina. That's just.
So he reloaded his rifle. Yep.
Yeah, I'm never going to South Carolina now.
Bro, this guy's legit. They didn't smoke this dude? What happened?
No. One officer was shot in the leg and is recovering, and the individual was taken into custody.
Wow.
So. Yeah.
Wow.
Pretty lucky.
God was looking out there, my dude.
Pretty lucky. Or he's just a terrible shot. You never know.
Well, I was about to say, the story. If he didn't kill anybody with that many shots, like, it's the stormtrooper of bad guys.
Just be a terrible shot.
Like he was.
Bro, well, let's be honest. It's probably like a Palmetto State Armory shout out. Probably with this guy.
And the way he's crouched and like he was
clearly
weird. Getting shot at. But
yeah,
there was some pucker factor on his end.
There was for sure.
So,
Mike the Cop, shout out.
Video.
I haven't seen this.
Karen gets a ticket and decides head tilting and name calling is the answer.
I like it.
In Ohio, dude.
Bro, Ohio's killing it today.
It's Ohio. This guy, there's several videos of him.
She's just texting away.
I'm watching you drive all the way up the street with your head buried in your phone. All the way up the street.
No, it was not.
Okay. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and pull you over. I have it on my camera. I have everything. And, I mean...
I don't know why the video went back.
And don't tell me you're on directions.
No, I'm not on directions. It's my damn neighborhood. Do you really have nothing else better to do with
You're gonna get pulled over. You're going to pull over into the BP lot. Pull up next to the, behind that. Yes, ma'am.
Nothing else to do in your damn
As she gets back on her phone.
Yep.
I don't want to be killed by you, ma'am. Pull
I gotta finish sending that tweet or whatever it is.
So, Josh, I know you can't hear this, but he is basically pulling her over on foot.
I was about to say, because I didn't see where his car... He just looks like he just strolled on up
He was in his car, like, parked, and he walked over to her car, and he says, so I'm going to pull you over, you're going to pull over into that BP parking lot, and I'm going to drive over there.
So, some backstory on this officer from seeing these videos. He sits in that parking lot where you see his patrol car, and he watches the traffic for violations. Sees them. He literally every time gets out of his car, walks up to the car, and says, "Hey, I saw this violation. Pull over here."
So he's like a viral video.
Let's be honest.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see if she actually does it.
Okay, so just to address the chat, Boom 11 says there's a cop chase where a soldier stole a tank, an M1A1, and went on a rampage. Go drop a link to that. I'm down for that.
I think I remember hearing that.
It's
This
canceled.
is a little thing. Just
Put it that way.
you may be an old man, so I use this little thing.
Tank versus car. Tank.
I could imagine, yeah.
So basically, I don't want to listen to her anymore because she's annoying me.
I don't have to. I'm
she
blessed
just
with not.
Yeah. I'm annoyed that you can't hear it, but
So her argument is that she wasn't texting, that she was using voice to text.
yeah, your phone's still in your hand and you're still looking down at it.
So she verbally admitted to using her phone
Yes.
while driving is what she did.
He walks up and she's like this.
You can clearly see her fingers.
Oh, on his body cam.
Yeah.
That's pretty.
Yeah.
He was slick about that.
But she's on a complaining rampage, so
Yeah,
that's just
I
funny.
never had.
He drops his pen at one point, and she makes the snide comment. She goes, "Oh, look at you, Butterfingers, making everybody unsafe on the road."
Is that really what she said?
Yes, those are her exact
There's
words. As
5 minutes of that video. I'm just not going to listen to her because she's annoying. So
yeah,
it was cancer. But he tried explaining the law to her. She wouldn't listen. He finally said, "You know what? I've given you a copy of the law. Just have at it. You're putting all of us in danger."
At some point, it's not even worth your breath to try and explain things to people. It's just like all your information's on the ticket. Here you go. Have a nice day.
Yep.
But
And that's
so this was interesting. The Minneapolis Police Department is spending on the rise as the defund movement fades. It only took what, a year and a half.
And I'll say this: so Minneapolis isn't exactly the gold standard for policing. I've complained about the specific police department more than once.
Yes.
However, I've said this. I think I said this in the very first podcast we ever did, and it is that your police department is almost always a direct reflection of your city leadership. Almost always, because irreparably, their budget was given to them by city management. City management approves it yearly, every single year. The chief has to go over there, put his knee pads on and ask for budget. And it's his job effectively.
Yeah.
If there's
You're
one
not
person he
wrong.
answers to, yeah, it's literally what they do.
It is what that's how
heck,
you.
They even live streamed, I think, our city management stuff when the police chief went out there. They had whole proposals and all this stuff. Anyways,
hey, side note, have you heard anything about our old department recently?
Yes, I know they did a vote of no confidence.
Yikes!
Yeah, it's a big yikes.
Yikes!
A big yikes.
Yeah.
So there's some drama. Right as we were leaving, we got a new police chief at our old department,
and it was a long process. How long was that process? 8 months?
Like 7 months.
8 months.
Yeah, it was a long time. We were leaderless and couldn't have been happier about it. To be honest.
Yeah.
But anyways, they did a vote of no confidence. There's some real sketchy stuff going on over there. I'm glad I'm out of it.
Dude, there's been so many.
Not my monkey, not my circus.
There's been so many things where I'm like, whew, really left at the right time, I think.
So I think you can look at Baltimore, you can look at NYPD, you can look at Minneapolis PD, you can look at a lot of these cities where Dallas PD,
Houston
you can almost directly see dysfunction at the city level, at the city management level, that simply permeates through the police. The police department is an extension of city management.
Yeah.
If they want code enforcement to go up, code enforcement goes up. If they want traffic enforcement to go up, traffic enforcement goes up. Basically what the city managers say, it happens. And so a lot of times when people get angry, it's specifically like I don't want to dog the defund the police movement if there's the people that are in there that says, yes, we could allocate funds in a different way, so on and so forth. If you ever looked at how much a fire department costs and for how little fires they put out, you have an argument there. If you look at the way that command staff is structured, there's way too much bureaucracy within the command structure of most police departments, where you got 60 people in a police department making way over $100K a year that don't stop a single car. that don't work a single 911 call. They don't do anything outside of become bureaucrats, basically, and hire assistants and civilian staff and all this nonsense. There is absolutely, if you want to say fat, that could be cut from that budget. However, when you talk about the actual portion of that budget that gets allocated towards patrol resources, it's way smaller of that pie than you think it is.
Well, and you can look at Austin. Austin voted on the defunding of the police department, and what did they cut? They cut every specialized unit out of their police force. So now Austin doesn't have specialized units for narcotics or gangs or, all that. I mean, I'm sure they still have detectives because they have to. Yeah. But you don't have guys out there in Austin that are trained to look for the stuff that if you catch it before it turns into a violent crime, your crime statistics are going to be a lot better. You don't have those guys out there.
And that's a point I was going to make too, is if you go to defund a law enforcement agency, and let's just say that your intent is to specifically target, say, the administration because they have ridiculous amounts of money and stuff like that, when that bill comes through, it's not going to affect administration at all.
No, not at all.
They're going to allocate that either to specialized units or they're going to curb control. So the people that are at the bottom that actually really need the funding and the money are going to lose that. And the admin are just going to continue to do what admin does.
Yep. Hence the skits, hence my attitude towards it, hence all of that stuff. It's not because it's my boss and my boss that's holding me accountable. It's because every single time these complaints come up, the only people being held accountable are the P1s. When oftentimes they're the ones working the 60-hour shifts. They're the ones that we are almost never shorthanded on leadership. Ever.
Well,
I would be amazed if you could find a police department that was short on leadership positions.
And then when you go to put those guys out there to help on patrol, they're more of a hindrance than they are an asset.
So, and again, that's not universal. There's plenty of people within command staff that I'm sure are incredible. I experienced that. We had an assistant chief that I thought was pretty awesome. One.
We had a lieutenant who wasn't afraid
we had a lieutenant
to go
that I
out
thought was pretty awesome.
Work.
Yeah. I worked for a couple of really, really good sergeants that I really respected to this day. They were better cops than I ever was.
And there's departments out there where they've got chiefs on the road with their guys, not because they're obligated to, because they choose to.
Yeah, they chose to be out there, so it's not all the time, but it's often, and often in big cities.
You see it in these defund the police cities.
Yeah,
their admin staff is not out there.
Yeah, it's pretty much
not out there working, not out there helping.
And then when something happens, they're like, well, and instead of coming up with a legitimate way to fix the problem, their answer to it is, well, why isn't patrol doing this?
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah.
Why aren't our officers doing that? Are our officers scared? And the sad fact of the matter is, you'll have officers doing exactly what they're supposed to be doing, but there's other avenues to address the problem that they're not taking, and instead of accepting that responsibility, they just go, oh no, it's patrol's failing and we need to come down on them.
Yeah, I need more T-stops. I'll be their band-aid to everything. we need more traffic stops.
More traffic stops.
Violent crime is up. More traffic stops.
Add it to my quota, I guess, right?
Don't even. Quotas aren't a thing.
Someone's already like, oh, I kept this receipt. Proof.
He said it. He was a cop. He said there's quotas.
Tinfoil hat intensifies.
He said there's a quota, guys.
He said it. It's on the internet. It's got to be true.
All right. So let's see what this is.
This is Mike the Cop, bro. He is putting out some gold. It says when they've taken the donut holes hostage, someone will pay.
I want to see this whole building get leveled. Bro, this split is legit here.
I'm gonna mute it because of the music. I don't want to get a. I don't want to get a strike on us. Oh yeah.
Ooh.
Bro.
Yeah. It was pretty cool.
That was cool. That was some Rainbow Six Siege
That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I have participated in some cool police stuff periodically. I've never seen anything that trick. That's pretty cool. I will say that. I've never even been I'd be amazed if
the little
even our SWAT. Yeah,
the little charge on the end of the pole was pretty dope.
That's pretty cool. I expect nothing less if they stole the donut holes.
Exactly.
Oh yeah,
100%.
Speaking of Mike the Cop, he just did a interview with Sean Sticks Larkin from.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, talking about Live PD getting the axe and what happened with that.
I thought it was coming back.
I'm not sure. It might be, but Sticks finally came out and talked about what happened for why the show was canceled, and yeah, it was great.
Kristen said the quota is cancer.
It's true.
Yes, the quota is cancer.
It's true.
Very cancer.
Do you see that so much in Payday 2? I've never played Payday 2, so
Don't know what that
it's
is.
pretty cool though.
I put this up here now that Michael's in the chat. Michael, this is what you can expect.
You have to look forward to. You have this to look forward to. Have fun.
Yeah. Get divorced, be overweight, have bad knees, have back problems, and have a sick sense of humor.
All right, so I have like 2 of those.
He says I already got 2.
Just let people guess. Don't tell us.
It's like the Infinity Gauntlet. You just got to collect all of them. And
Hey,
and then
you're a crusty veteran.
I still have bad knees and a bad back from my belt.
I have my left hip still hurts me periodically
From the belt,
I have some neuropathy going down my left leg because of the belt.
Yes. I don't remember what this is, so we're just gonna watch it.
We're about it.
I did not see you, for one. It's dark over here, and when you how about the overhead lights?
Oh, I think I've seen this.
I thought it was Christmas.
Oh yeah,
bro, these classic lights, dude.
Okay, so the guy who's arrested, he says, "Officer, I did not see you. It's dark over here. I didn't see you." And the officer says, "The overhead lights." And the guy goes, "I thought they were Christmas lights."
It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas.
It's pretty awesome.
Have fun in jail.
Pretty awesome.
That's some more dust.
So
I'm about it.
Hey,
Do
listen, I was on Instagram while we were on the live stream because I was looking for more clips, and Coleon Noir did a podcast with old boy here from Dust, so we have that to look forward to tomorrow.
Did y'all see the Mike the Cop one where he reenacts the Dust where you take a bat from somebody?
No, but I might have to find that.
That shit is hilarious.
We'll save that for the next live stream. Josh,
also, shout out to Boom11. He said he had 4 of the 5 Infinity Stones for copping this.
Oh,
so God bless that man. Put a baby Jesus in the
I
chat for him.
like it.
It's great.
Josh, I want you to just imagine our defensive tactics instructors doing this. Okay,
I'm ready. What?
All
right. Detroit defensive tactics training. If this guy's completely cooperative and wants to be taken down, all you got to do is I can see what he thinks he's doing, but like literally a back step, like a just stepping back, eliminates that, or just grabbing onto you.
So we're going from that to a real takedown.
I'm about it. Please post.
Are these people going to try to fight the guys?
Whoa! And mount. Look at that.
That was a legit takedown.
Talk about absolutely dominated.
I planned that. I just want you to know.
So that is a leg sweep or a single leg hook that you're doing there. And the difference, I will say this. If you want to know whether what you're looking at is legit defensive tactics or not, look at the follow through of what's happening in said defense. Because oftentimes you'll see a lot of these things, they'll do like this weird, spiritual spirit bomb that they're going to go put off into whoever it is that they're trying to stop. Shout out to any Dragon Ball Z fans that get the reference. So they release their chi onto this person and they fall away. Typically, almost every single move they do, this person falls in some way, shape, or form. Yeah.
Such a nerd.
So anyways, once the chakras are in line and the chi is released, these people fall. and they just stand there like, hey, look, I've accomplished what I'm doing. You'll notice a lot of times, a great example of this is Tim Kennedy. That actually shows actual, A, I have a man crush on him, but B, like, he's showing actual defensive tactics. Not only are you putting this person on the ground, I am then trying to get them in an arresting position, whether they're consenting to getting into that position or not.
You want full control. You don't want to push them to the ground and then back up.
Yeah, and so what he did was he got to what you would consider full mount, and that's you're completely on top of this person, and you've then pinned his hips you've gone north of his hips, and it's a good position to be in to control that person.
And
there.
if you've ever been there and felt someone sink their hips into you, you know you're screwed.
And that's because he's sitting up.
Yeah.
If he really wanted to go full mount, he would sink the hooks in under your legs, and you're not going anywhere.
Yes.
He's staying up like that, and I would agree with the tactic of him staying like erect and sitting up while he was there.
Yeah.
Because it keeps you a little bit more situationally aware, because somebody can come and soccer kick you in the face.
That's true.
Someone in the chat, please say giggity. All right.
Giggity. Stay erect and on top of him.
But
what? No.
Also, if you are a cop, Tim Kennedy should be your man crush.
Yeah, that should be your man crush. Yeah. If you're a man, Tim Kennedy should be your man crush.
You're not wrong, actually.
It's a real life superhero right there.
All I'm saying is there's a reason he lives in Texas.
I'm just saying.
So this one was last month somewhere. Cleveland.
Shout out to Police Post.
Bro, Ohio is just lighting up the live stream today. Pretty much there's this kid. I don't know exactly what they were trying to detain him for. I think it might have been like a mental health thing. But he ends up pulling out a gun and shooting at the officers while he's running.
Oof.
You'll see it doesn't...
a real pew-pew or like
a like a real one. So you'll see it doesn't go real good for him.
You're not in any trouble.
So pause real quick.
I'm already seeing it.
So I can't hear it. Remember, I can't hear it. But if there's verbal commands being given, and you'll notice this officer's not approaching him, which makes me think, again, I can't hear this, but makes me think he's already a little leery of this guy.
Yeah.
What he's doing here, and this is an education for anybody watching this that wants a police perspective on this, like the guy that stops his car and is not getting out of the car and is reaching into his car, this is what we'd consider a furtive movement. A furtive movement, for definitional sake, is a movement that leads me to believe that you're retrieving some sort of weapon, or you're putting yourself in a defensible position to get a weapon, or you're preparing. It's kind of like quick drawing. The easiest example I could give is putting your hand on the gun is a furtive movement.
Yeah. Notice where his hands are at while he's walking. And you can tell he hears the cop because he's looking right at him.
Yeah.
But he's continuing to just walk like he doesn't hear anything.
The other portion of this that typically would be your defense to prosecution if you did draw down on this officer would be not knowing he was an officer, and this looks like a marked unit. I'm assuming this officer's in full uniform.
There's lights and sirens. There's no...
As Boom 11 says, I got the first quarter half of my Quagmire's brain, and almost everything else is made up of me, I think.
Did y'all do that video from Florida that I posted?
I don't know if we did or not.
Where the guy made that defense of, hey, I didn't know y'all were cops. The one who had the AR pistol on his side that I showed you.
I'll look at it. I'll look at it. We'll see if we can dig it up from the Discord if that's the case. But what I'm getting at is this is a furtive movement.
Yes.
I'd be honest. I'm probably drawing down on this guy at this point.
Oh yeah.
If I'm by myself. If I have a reason to be detaining him, but
still in pockets and now he can't see.
Can you just talk to us? If you talk to us, we'll leave you alone.
It's a decent backstop. Well, he's got backup.
Yeah.
My adrenaline would be through the roof right now.
Sure. I wonder if they know he's armed.
I don't know, but
they have a suspicion that he's armed.
Right there. He's just following him in the car.
There's a veteran right there.
Yeah. He's like, I'm not getting out and chasing this guy.
Well, also, there's traffic on the street, so...
Yeah, and you're trying to keep traffic away from the incident.
So another officer just pulled up in front of him.
There's another one.
Not great.
They gotta know something's up, yeah.
So he starts running.
There it is.
Really hard to watch. Shaky.
Yeah. I've had a situation.
So, advice Pause it real quick before
He
it
just
goes
shot.
sideways.
He just
shot.
shot.
He did?
Yeah.
So
when he got
advice
around
here,
that car, I'm assuming he pulled the gun out and started shooting.
So advice for anybody that's an officer that's watching this, something that I actually had a PTO teach me a long time ago, that if we're all running after the same guy, do not all run in a line. If this guy produces a weapon and decides to pick one of us to go try to do the pew-pews or the stabbies or any of that kind of stuff, getting off the X is important, but if you are spread out just a smidge, like literally just be a little bit to his left or a little bit to his right. I understand in a hallway there's nothing much you can do, but here, it's like a long
highway.
it's like a longhorn drill. You're trying to cut off possible avenues of escape. This officer's whose body cam we're seeing, I think it made sense that he lagged behind in case this guy decided to turn around and run at him.
Yep.
I'm not complaining about his tactics, but in general, when you get funneled like that, and that's actually when he cranked the round off, there's just basically more bodies to soak up said bullet, and so you kind of want to get yourself off the X. The lead officer, though, if you're the one immediately behind him, you're kind of just trying to catch him. So everyone else around there, just try to just think to yourself, if you have the presence of mind and you're not thinking about just, oh shit, this guy's running, this write-up's gonna suck. If you can get your mind off that stuff, try to get yourself out from behind the guy in front of you.
How would you have felt if before the other officers arrived, or I'm sure he could see the one officer in the Charger pulling up beforehand, but before they actually got on scene, when he started initially giving the guy commands, how would you have felt if he had charged him and just tackled him to the ground?
Yeah, it's not a fun feeling.
Yeah, because I had a situation where there was a guy with a warrant, and I arrive on scene. The mom was the one who called in. And she goes, hey, he's right there. And I tell him, hey, man, stop. Of course, he ignores me, and he keeps walking. So I end up following this guy. I've got no backup yet. And I'm following this guy, and I'm calling for backup, announcing where he's going. And when backup finally arrived, we ended up running on him, grabbing him, and getting him to the ground. Thankfully, he wasn't armed or anything. But one thing my sergeant said, because they reviewed the footage, was like, hey, if backup's not there yet and he's refusing to obey commands and you're following behind him, you can't see his hands, he was like, you might just have to go hands-on with him. Because
my only issue, like I said, my only issue with it is that if he produces a weapon, you're by yourself. That's my only issue. I will say this: if you can control that guy, the quicker you can do it, do it. I'm not going to say don't do it, and you'd rather.
Yeah, but unless
the option,
unless he's running towards like a crowd of people with a knife out,
I'm not
going to tackle that guy. If I can keep eyes on him and follow him, no way.
Because he didn't have any weapons or anything like that. He was just walking, and he just didn't
he has a warrant. Yes, you're going to get him into custody, but there is listen. I don't think I've ever had a supervisor that told me to rush something like that. Like, unless
that's
it
what
was.
I'd say.
And I was thinking reactionary distance. That's why I kept my distance in case.
I agree.
Before backup showed up, I wanted to be able to have time to react.
Well, what happens if he knocks you out?
Right.
Even if it's not a killing thing, what happens if he knocks you out?
Yeah.
Boom 11 says having cameras with gyroscopes on them could go a long way. I agree. Or at least motion stabilization. There are GoPros with motion stabilization. Come on now.
Yeah.
Come on now, Axon.
I know, right?
It was Axon. You're correct.
I'm telling you.
We'll finish this.
Shots fired. Shots fired. Move. I got you.
And the polyester pile.
Yeah, so you can't see it, but when they got around that car, he shot, and I think one or two officers tackled him, and then they got the gun away from him.
Oof.
And the first words out of his mouth are, "I'm a kid." Yeah.
I'm a kid.
Well,
no one cares.
You're not too young to get shot.
Yeah,
no one cares today.
That isn't a lot of people believe that's an affirmative defense of that stupid shit, though.
They might.
Yeah.
When you're a kid, you might think that. But.
Yeah. Bro, get it together.
So
have more sneak than this.
Good God.
So I just assumed that this was like a Antifa riot or something or whatever. But handcuffs in the pocket, the wire, the vest under the super tight T-shirt to show off his his guns, and then his patrol boots, and a thin blue line wristband.
Well played.
So,
Well played, sir. Well played.
Yeah.
To be fair, I would probably that would be me minus the tight shirt with the vest. I'd at least wear a hoodie, but that'd probably be me. I would stand out like this.
I guarantee.
I would
you
at
that
least
this
take
guy's-
my thin
Yeah.
blue line little rubber bracelet off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He would have been better off being like, "My name is Yef" as a cover story. Like that was pretty weak.
Yes.
He just walks up to people. I'm totally not a cop.
360 no scope body cams with aim assist. Wait, yeah, Juan. That's not. That's not what we're going after here.
Oh, I'm for it though.
What a police post. This has got to be spicy.
Yeah. So this is in LA, I guess, and this is like a home invasion type deal. But the guys claim to be DEA agents, and they have like police on their vests, and it's pretty gnarly. So
home invasion and police impersonation.
Yeah, pretty much.
Nice.
You're up in your game there.
And honestly, this is why I don't believe in no-knock warrants for the most part. I can understand sometimes why they want to do it, but it's sketchy. Oh, they're holding this guy up. Oh, they got him at the door.
Yeah. This is their security camera. There's no audio, but...
I tell you what, though, that is a good ruse to get in close to people.
Yeah.
Yeah, hey, I'm a cop, you know.
With their Halloween costume style vests on.
Hey, but
I'll tell you what.
The average person
So pause it.
There's no.
This guy gives like
there's no audio.
This guy gives like 4 sucker punches and can't knock out a dude. Total puss.
Yes.
Yeah.
So he tried to too.
Just something to be aware of.
So anybody watching this, please don't take this the wrong way. But if you take it the wrong way, I'm gonna be honest, I don't really care. This is predatory behavior. You're victimizing somebody that's going to give them PTSD for the rest of their life. You're doing it because you don't feel like making money like everybody else does.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna be honest. I'm sad y'all walked away from that.
Yeah.
I'm sad that didn't happen in Texas, and you didn't. You of all. That's how I feel about that.
So,
it pisses me off because you have people minding their own business, completely minding their own business, and you guys have the nerve to be doing stuff like that.
Let's be real. If that were in Texas, that would have been a whole different video, and we'd be having a whole different conversation.
We'll be giving them high fives.
Yeah.
I want to say this to everybody in the chat. It pays to get a concealed carry permit and to know how to use a weapon.
Yeah.
I was about to say, but and part of that's also being situationally aware, because these guys didn't come out of nowhere. These guys probably followed them home.
That's what it said.
You know, they probably be situationally aware. Even if that's the only thing you got going for you, I guarantee you it avoids most of the stuff.
And also pay attention to what your local jurisdictions, law enforcement officers wear on a daily basis.
Sure.
Because if you want to tell a fake cop from a real cop, the uniform will give it away.
Yeah.
Well, the only thing that's hard with that is we saw some bounty hunters that were in some real cop cosplay, and we had to go to a call. Where was that? That was in the 30s, wasn't it? Remember where those guys were all in their plate carriers and they were knocking on the door.
Them. Yeah, they were gonna go serve a warrant.
Yeah, and the homeowners called and they're like, "Hey, there's guys out here saying they're cops and we don't think they're cops," and we had to show up and they wanted us to help them serve the warrant, and we were like,
No,
nah, dog, this is all you, man. I'm out. But they were in full
they were decked
get-up.
out. They were ducked out.
They had nicer plate carriers than we did.
And there's nothing wrong with it. If you're in doubt that someone is legitimately a law enforcement officer and they're identifying, there is nothing wrong with calling your local dispatch and going, "Hey, I have a guy here that says he's a cop. Can you confirm that for me?" So that, I'm not trying to run or anything like that. I just want to make sure. Because, if it is, you want to stop. And if it isn't, you want cops to get there. The real police to get there. To
sure.
That.
Yeah.
So
that's why 911's a thing.
That's right.
That's why it exists.
So
who's this?
This one's pretty wild. This guy here pulls out a knife and tries to stab himself. The officer tases him. He then falls on the knife, and the officer tries to grab him, and then the officer gets cut by the knife.
Oh, lovely.
And also, I think the officer is by himself, because it says single officer response to a person with a knife should constitute deadly force coverage.
What?
So I think he's by himself. So
before you even play it, pause it. If you're a cop and you're watching this, or you watch this after the fact, or you know a cop, or you have an opinion, don't fucking do this shit.
Well,
I can't stand that.
You can't say that, because this could be a county. This could be a county deputy who's the only guy for 30 miles.
I'm with you.
And you can't just let a guy who's saying he's going to kill himself with a knife hang out while you wait for someone to come 30 minutes away.
I'm with you, but if this is the case, there are some very real conversations that need to be happening with that administrative staff.
Yeah, but you can't put it on
getting staffing. I'm with you.
You can't put it on the cops. You can't say, don't do this. Like,
and tactics
too. But what I'm saying is there's an administrative staff that is putting officers in unnecessary risk, or there's a guy being macho. Like there's
and even if there is that budgetary concern, they can't hire more guys. Put your guys, if you know that you're going to have situations where you're the only officer in the area to respond to hot calls, and you might not get back up for 10, 15, 20 minutes, train your officers to be the tactic to do this stuff safely, or as safe as you can.
Yeah.
You know, right now you can see the video hasn't even started. You can see that officer is way too close to that guy.
If it's a person with a knife, I'm probably having this conversation about 30 feet away.
Yeah, with a gun out.
Yeah, probably. But we'll see.
I mean,
I'm with you though.
He doesn't have the knife in his hand right now. I'm just like,
I'm glad.
But that could easily happen.
I'm glad
an hour away from us in Texas.
Bill's right. No, you're right. You're right. It drives me up the wall because like people are very quick to come up with excuses as to why it has to happen, if that makes sense. And 9 times out of 10, they're right. It is a budget. Like there's 20 people that live in this county, and they're lucky to have the cop that comes from 3 counties away to even answer the call.
But
so I get that.
And again, imagine if this had gone a different way and he had shot and killed this guy. Then the conversation would be, oh, well, he was having a mental health crisis and you killed him.
Yep.
So
I'm with you.
There's no win here.
Yeah, I'm with you. And this is the deck you're given. As a cop, unfortunately. Fire's there.
Yeah.
Second responders are being useless.
Well, you're not using here.
So there had to have been more to this story because they have their hoses out and there's water all over the place.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
They were doing something. They don't take hoses off the truck for nothing.
Maybe it was fire. What? I got a ticket. Okay, that's fine. Let's go walk over here with the CR people.
And you know what? There's nothing about this guy's posture that seems weird. He's out here spilling it. He's helping fire right there. He just replaced an entire fire department with a bottle of water.
He sounds a little off, but he's also very hard to hear because of the fire truck. So
sure.
It's hard to hear what he's saying, but the officer's trying to get him over to the ambulance.
Okay.
That way we can get out of their way so they can do their
back
job.
to him. Oof.
Yeah,
I'm not feeling that. Oh, there he is. There he is. He's side by side. Look at that. No littering. Didn't mess with Texas. I respect the game. I know it's not Texas. Bro, look at all of these, like, 4th responders out here. Oh, my God. There had to have been something going on. Who's this guy on the floor?
Standing around doing nothing.
Goodness, bro. So this isn't a... Oh!
There it is. There it is.
Put the knife down.
Bruh.
Yeah, that's when I would have gotten my distance.
Bruh.
The calm in this dude's voice when he just pulled that knife, he said, "Let me have that knife." That's literally what he said. He said, "Give me that. Let me have the knife."
To be fair, if I were in his position, I would have probably done the same thing.
You can tell the guy is going through something. He's a little off in whatever state that he's in. So I mean,
I would have backed off, but I've been like, man, let me have the knife. I'd have said it calmly because I don't want to escalate it just yet.
Sure.
But
at this point, you almost have to escalate it because there's 5 firefighters.
Yeah. Shout out to Boom 11. I'm with him on shooting the threat with a high pressure water hose.
Oh,
Where's fire?
Just
See now.
Just yell at the firefighters. Yo,
Now that's a smart idea. But they're already putting their hoses away. They're ready to go back to their lazy boys and eat their chili.
Yeah,
So.
Can't possibly intervene to save this dude's life.
No,
wait. And to be fair, this is the one weird opportunity where they could help.
Yes, if their hoses were still out.
Well, but even just like, hey, like make sure he doesn't run anywhere, something like that. Like contribute in some way, shape. If they don't have the training or like the stones to do it, but whatever. Here we are.
Yeah, they're gonna go. That's a cop problem.
Yeah, it's a cop problem. I'd be curious to see how this went out.
Yeah.
Traffic. I got this guy with a knife.
So
I'm not gonna lie, my dude.
He just called for backup.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna lie. Like, and now it makes more sense that he's by himself if it's a non-PD call. So if this came out as like a structure fire, and he's just there to block traffic, it makes sense why he's there by himself.
I'm wondering if this was just an FD call, and then FD called for something. Like if this guy showed up and he was trying to mess with the firefighter or something, and it makes a little more sense. But
or maybe he was like, "Oh, I can help."
Yeah, he saw the pretty flashy lights, and he decided to go see what's up.
Juan is realizing he's getting the police lingo. He's saying fire's going to be mad because the scene isn't secure. they're now going to make TikToks about how I can't believe police let me be there with the scene not being secure. Wow, how unprofessional! Wow.
So, Boom 11 said, "Who holds a knife like that? Someone who's not committed to using it."
Probably.
Yeah.
But we'll see. We'll see. I could be wrong.
We'll see
Put the knife down. Down.
Right now, his body.
Never mind. He's committed.
Put it down.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna.
It looks like on himself. Yeah.
Oh,
wow.
If that was a ceramic blade, that dude's dead.
Wow. I wasn't expecting that.
Did he get himself?
I don't know. I just caught me.
Where's it at?
It's in his neck.
Okay. We're out.
Yeah. So.
Yep.
Okay. I'm with the fact that he's trying to prevent him from doing something to harm himself, but at the same time, you just allowed him to harm himself inadvertently.
Boy.
Is this a write-up?
Oh, that's probably a write-up.
It's at least a geo.
Yeah, that's
I will say this: the taser was strangely effective.
Yeah. So
and he was close. Like that spread couldn't have been.
Yeah. I have said this more than once that I don't think there's ever a good time for OC. That might have been a good decent time for OC.
Dude, I don't know about that, because what if you spray him and he just starts cutting himself, or he charges you?
That is true.
He's probably not able to see me at that point, to be honest.
You know that's a lie.
Yeah.
Like, we got sprayed with pepper spray. You know that if you were committed,
it's not fun though.
It's not fun, but
I at least make him earn it.
I don't know, dude.
So,
can you imagine like OC and a gun? Like you're like,
yeah. I do feel bad for the officer though, because he's left. He's by himself. He's left very few tactical choices. Do I go hands on and try to stop this man?
I don't think so.
Which is going to get me stabbed.
Yeah.
Or do I try to use my taser, or do I just let him cut himself?
Yeah, he was given the shortest of sticks, and I'm gonna be honest. Like, I'm not mad that he tried to tase him. I don't know that there's any better answer, to be honest. I don't think there is one outside of being John Wick and like getting this.
Yeah.
Or he had dust training, right? The Detroit urban survival training.
I mean,
that's what he needed.
You could argue maybe baton, try to knock it out of his hand, but then
you're too close. You're close with a baton.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It sucks.
That's an essay. Most definitely a write-up. Everyone here's rolling it.
That's an F for the situation, because the situation is just terrible.
And I wish we knew why he was there to begin with. Like,
yeah.
I wish they would have gave us a little more backstory on like what was he even doing there, let alone why was he by himself. But
sure.
But if it was a fire call, I mean, if it was a fire call, I've gone to plenty of those by myself.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like I said, if it was fire alone and you were just there to control traffic or whatever it was, yeah, I could see that.
And the crazy thing about it is, normally when you watch incidents like this, the person gives some sort of sign that things are about to go south before it happens. From this, just looking at the guy's body language, he looked normal.
Yeah, I didn't. There
was no aggression. There was no he seemed a little awkward. You're with a cop. Who doesn't get awkward when they're with a cop? And there's something going on. I don't know.
Yeah.
But we'll end it on this. So it says this photo was taken off a page that promotes criminal activity, and basically it just says, he said, "Who gonna catch that fat ass?" That's what they said on the post of this page. So police post pretty much just says, take pride in how you look in a uniform.
Sure.
If you think people aren't paying attention, you're wrong. Suspect's criminal, size you up and down. Yep. If they think I could take him or her, your appearance can de-escalate the situation. And I will preach that till the day I die. Because I don't care what anyone says. I know there were several times where someone looked at me or Josh and they were like, I don't want any part of that tonight.
Yeah.
And if there would have been some other officers that we worked with, it would have been a fight. 100%.
Yeah.
And
there was...
Go ahead.
I was gonna say Stafford that plays Halo Infinite with us.
No one wants to mess with him.
He's humongous. This guy was like a tight end in college.
Yeah, nobody wants to mess with that.
They were talking mad shit to me, and they'd turn around and look at him and be like, you know what?
And you could always see it because you'd get him to the jail, and they would get the jailer let's be real, and they'd just start running their mouth and bowing up, and you're like, you didn't do any of this with me. Where did this come from? Oh, you feel superior now that you're in jail?
And I'm going to say this, too. If you're not one of those officers that's super bulky and super muscular, two things you need to have, all right? Because I'm one of those people. I'm not a really big guy. Is you need to be able to actually fight if it comes down to that.
Yeah.
And two, be able to talk your way
out. 100%. You don't have to be huge, but if you carry yourself like you know what you're doing and you don't give in to whatever pressure they're trying to apply, completely different. But when you're fat, come on, dude. Give me a break.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't agree with being overweight and being a cop. There are cops like there. Now, there are some cops out there that are overweight that would slam a person to the ground. No problem.
That's the exception, not the rule.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and I think that there's a real argument. We had a jailer at the jail that we worked at, and she was 4'3", maybe
4 foot nothing,
maybe.
But nobody messed with her.
95 pounds or whatever. And do I necessarily want her to be my back in a fight? Probably not. No. However, her presence was about 6'2".
Yes.
I will say that there is a projected presence that you can have based on the way that you carry yourself. There is a point of diminishing returns. Like I said, I'd rather have the actual bite as opposed to just be all bark and not bite. But it's the reality of policing is it's a violent job.
Yes.
I as an adult hadn't gotten in a fight since I was probably 12. Like an actual fight. And it was a weird thing to get used to doing. I don't like hurting people. I really don't. That's not in my nature. I remember when I played football, I was a big kid when I was little because I was Mexican and I hit puberty way before everyone else did. But I got football coaches that were mad at me because I wasn't aggressive enough. And you had to curb that. The second I started becoming a cop, the first fight I got into and I realized how scary it was, I wanted to go home. And I remember I apologized to a handful of dudes that I was like, look, man, if you make me nervous, I was like, I'm going to make you nervous. I was like, that's the way this is going to go.
Yeah.
Because I want to go home. And then, or even I have an obligation to, like I said, there was times where Bill and I are on a call and Bill's like, all right, I'm going to go do an investigation. And his whole ass life is in my hands. I was at his wedding. I'd have to look his wife dead in the face and say he didn't come home because I couldn't do my job. So it's a very real, violent job that a lot of people don't. People that have not experienced what it's like to have to take a very uncooperative person into jail, it's just not.
Yeah.
It's
well, you also
yeah.
You can sometimes like put an end to that as soon as you get that verbal test.
Sure.
Because they'll test you verbally before they test you physically.
Yeah.
And if you shut it down immediately, you're in such a better spot.
And I've said it multiple times. Sometimes escalation of force, quick escalation of force, is the best form of de-escalation.
Yep. Because it keeps everyone safe.
Yeah. I have sat there and had someone simply get mouthy. And I was like, you know what? Cuffs. Nope, we're doing it right now.
Yep. We did that. Especially depending on where we were working.
Sure.
That happened quickly.
Yeah, you had places where you knew that you were dealing with people that were legitimately gang affiliated.
Yeah.
Or legitimately
didn't care. Like cuffs, back to the car, doesn't matter. No, you're not going to have your cell phone. Like
yeah, and again, a lot of people sit there and say, "Well, that this is profiling or this is whatever." I was like, it's a safety thing. Yeah. I'm not arresting the guy because I think he looks like XYZ. I wasn't even talking to this person unless I had PC or unless I had reasonable suspicion. None of these things were like I ran into some random dude in the middle of QT and he started talking shit, so I threw handcuffs on him. This is
completely
in the course of an investigation.
Yes,
this is in the course of. I had people throw stuff at my patrol car and I didn't do anything about it.
Hey, if you wanna talk trash to me at QT, we can have fun. It'll be a fun little conversation because I'm gonna throw it right back at you because my body camera's not on because I'm not on a call. So guess what? You want to talk trash? I can talk trash with the best of them. But completely different when we get on a call and there's other officers involved and there's a whole situation going on.
And there's so many situations that we get into that some of them you show up on scene and you automatically know from the get-go I'm going to have problems.
Yeah.
And then you have...
You can read the call text sometimes, and you're like, oh, this is going to be super fun.
It's going to be great. Yeah. And then you get the ones where it starts off nice, real calm, and then you say something or do something that the person doesn't like, especially if you get those, I'm a street lawyer. And
a street lawyer. I love it.
I graduated from the Harvard down the street.
Yeah.
Of street lawyership. Yeah, and it a lot of the other thing too is and I always kind of point this out that I have seen people in person or online snap over way less egregious things.
Yes.
Than I've seen. Again, I was like, I have the most disparaging experience I ever had in my life was being a police officer.
Yep.
I was the only Mexican kid in the white town that I grew up in that put me on accident in an ESL class. When I was a kid, that's how I was the minority in my. I had never experienced prejudice at the level that I did as a police officer. I had never experienced, a lot of this. It's wild. It was the craziest thing that I was like a hateful, racist, whatever because I was a police officer. It was a very weird. Yeah. It was the strangest experience to go at work, and again everyone hates me because I was a Nazi or whatever, and then to go to Sprouts later that weekend and then someone try to be inclusive to me and be like, oh, are you Latinx? It was the weirdest my experience with
You're
that.
No, I'm not.
Yeah.
And every cop, I think, obviously yours is unique, but every cop experiences, I think, a little bit of that to an extent.
Sure.
Especially if you've got friends before you become a cop, and then you realize you become a cop, and some of them just disappear.
Yeah.
As soon as you become a cop, these are people that you've been friends with for years and years and years, and really close, and then you become a cop, and it's like, oh, you must have backstabbed them, or now you have an ulterior motive when you're around them, and it sucks.
My favorite is the stupid questions that people ask.
Yeah, oh my god.
Oh, you're a cop? Well, there's this one time I got pulled over and I got a speeding ticket.
Run this by you.
Yeah. Hey, can I ask you about this? No.
Oh yeah, no, please God. No. I'm not even working. Go away. No, and then me personally. So I have never been. I don't like conflict. I don't like confrontation as a person. And I've always been the person to try and de-escalate things. Not really gotten into too many fights. So getting into law enforcement, where you can pretty much expect a confrontation from the moment you walk out and say, "Hi, I'm Officer So and So."
Yep.
Sure.
It's wild. And if anyone who is thinking about getting into law enforcement or
Don't.
is
Sorry. Sorry. So did I say that out loud? My bad. Sorry.
Take his advice. No, anyone who's thinking about getting into law enforcement, especially if you're like me and you don't like confrontation, you get that sick feeling in your stomach when you're faced with confrontation. I can say, one, it does get better because I've gotten better with it, and I can suck it up and do what I got to do. But really evaluate yourself before you make the decision. Can I go into a situation and confront this person and be able to stand up for whatever it is, and it doesn't have to be in the sense of I'm gonna fight someone. It could be you pull somebody over and say, hey, you failed to stop at a stop sign, and they start arguing with you because they think in their mind, I did stop for that stop sign.
Yeah.
Are you gonna shy away and go, yeah, you're right, my bad, I must have made a mistake? Or are you gonna go, no, I definitely saw you not make that stop, and I'm gonna take enforcement action on you.
I think you also, you need to do, I would say you need to do at least one ride out, but you also need to, try and find an officer to talk to before you start getting in that world. Because just because you think you know what being a cop is like, it's probably not like what you've seen or heard or, even if you know someone that's a cop, if you're not asking them the right questions, you don't know what you're in for.
And I'll take a poll here since we're all here, and I already know Bill's answer for this, because I remember being outrageously disappointed at how boring sometimes the job really is, or how annoying it is.
Yes.
How different was the reality of being a police officer versus what you thought it was, an academy?
Full 180.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was, going into the academy, I had one idea. Our academy was completely different from what I thought the academy was going to be all about.
Yeah.
And then when we got out of the academy, the reality was completely different from that. So it was a double roller coaster, I don't know.
Okay, so I have this conversation with my girlfriend. Shout out to Kristen.
Who's in the chat, by the way.
Yes, I have this conversation. She can attest to this. I have this conversation with her all the time, that the expectation of what being a cop is like and the reality are two different things.
Yeah.
If you watch Cops, and Live PD was better, but if you watch Cops and stuff like that, and that is your exposure to law enforcement, it looks fun as hell. Foot chases, car chases.
Yeah,
doing all this
they only have to film 10,000 hours of cop stuff to get you an hour worth of showtime.
And it's real exciting and all that, and then you actually get into it and you go, holy crap, this is boring, and there's so many restrictions.
And then when the stress does hit, you're like, oh my god, the adrenal fatigue.
I was explaining this to my coworkers, because they bug me all the time, because I'm in the most white collar of a super cushy job right now. But they asked me about cool cop stories or whatever, and I was honestly, I don't enjoy talking about them as much now. I was because towards the end of my career, it was nothing but stress. I was I didn't enjoy the foot pursuit. I was annoyed about being in. The vehicle pursuits, I was annoyed about. There was a handful of times in the last 2 years of my career that I thought, yeah, let's go get this guy, or this is a menace to my community. Let me go take care of the situation. But
there was a few times where we
I'm not there.
Legitimately,
it was so much more rare.
Yeah, but there was a few nights where we legitimately went out looking for it.
Sure.
And then never found it.
Yeah.
For whatever reason.
Oh yeah, we were gonna stop everything that moved,
and we did.
And we were gonna and didn't find anything.
And then there were nights where we were you know what, tonight's just not the night. And then that's when.
I was gonna say, every time you go, you know what, I'm just gonna chill and relax, maybe answer some calls. That's when the shit hits the fan.
And we even tried to take like we would try and jump calls and just work calls.
Yeah.
Stupid calls, like especially when we rode together. We would just try and knock out stupid calls, like didn't matter where they were, we were just going to try and go knock them out. And inevitably, every time, we got stuck on someone else's bullshit. Every time. And it's just like, you know what? I'm just going to sit here and let you send me to something.
But you know what? Like I said,
you don't find it.
Yeah, but like I said before, I'm in the middle of my ham sandwich, and it's boop.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh shit! It literally, you could almost palatably hear everybody go, ah shit. And it's you already knew, and everyone turned their radio up a little bit louder, and it was on, and there's aspects of it that it was exciting, that what you did mattered, or like again. The excitement of the unknown, but like, man, when it's when you start getting the short straw a handful of times, you start to realize like how mortal you are.
Well, they did a really good job of making it feel like it mattered a lot less in the last like 2 years.
Yeah.
Well, and so I'm a couple of months away from 2 years on the job, and I had my first burnout. When I was on day shift. Day shift is canceled. Anybody that becomes a cop, go night shift.
Day shift sucks.
But so I was day shift, and the protest didn't help. But I was day shift, and I got so burnt out that I didn't want to do anything. I was one of the people that was very reliable on my squad. I was always trying to go for traffic. I was always answering calls. I was backing up other officers, and they knew that. And unfortunately, my dispatch knew that. So if I was available, or even if I wasn't available, but they thought, hey, he'll go take this call and he'll handle it, he'll do it right, I was the one getting the call. So I would get, and I was one of 2 officers on our squad that would take the late calls. Everybody else would be in the office bullshit, and we'd be the ones to be stuck with the late calls. Every day of doing that, every single day, and then like every week I was catching on the weekends, like on a Sunday, last day working, I was catching like felony cases. It burnt me the hell out.
Yeah.
I was done.
Yeah.
And
Josh and I
dude. Yeah.
Josh and I had dispatchers that would message us and be like, "Hey, can you guys take this call?" Like,
awful. How about this? You know that number you haven't called all night?
Yeah. Why don't you send that?
You know that call sign you haven't called all night that's been on an admin like break for like 5 hours?
And
how about you ask them?
Already took their lunch.
Yeah. How about you ask them?
Already got gas.
I haven't shit today.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But they did they would message our MDC and they'd be like, "Hey, can you guys go to this?" Like,
yeah.
So
I don't miss it.
My biggest piece of advice, because I will be honest, if I had not switched to night shift, I would have probably is go night shift.
Night shift.
It's different.
Be prepared though. If you do go day shift, there are people that do like it, and power to you. If you do get into law enforcement, be prepared to have your ass handed to you on some days.
Yeah.
And then some days nothing happened at all. And you could even have it in a shift. You could have the shift go wild for like 3 hours straight and then nothing.
Yeah.
That's this job, and there's fun parts to it. There's also a lot of not fun parts to it. Reports suck.
Yes.
I would say it's like a 95 to 5 percentile.
Yes.
95% of it's either boring, sucky, annoying, or tedious. And there's like 5% of like, okay, I'll be proud of that for the rest of my life, or that'll be a cool story for the rest of my life. But like,
but even the cool fun stuff comes with so much extra work. Like,
all and liability.
That's what I mean. Like all of the fun pursuits, all of the foot chases. Every time I got my rifle out, like all of the fun stuff and like the hot calls and all that came with so much extra work.
Yeah, you're the paperwork on the back end is horrible. But I mean, if it's something that I want to get into and I get it, I don't care too much about the paperwork. I expected it, but it's a weird job. It's a weird job.
It's weird that it's a job. That's what
Yes.
people don't understand.
Yeah.
Like, I only do this 40 hours a week. Like, I don't know. That's what was weird for me is, like, you want to hate me because I show up to work.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you're gonna get people. We get this a lot. Someone will call the cops. You know, like, oh, my boyfriend assaulted me or whatever. They're not on scene.
That's 70% of the calls you get.
Oh yeah.
We get there and you ask like 2 questions, like to the victim, like, hey, was this your boyfriend or something? And they completely go off on you. Go, I don't know why I called the cops. You know, fuck y'all, whatever.
That's
y'all
true.
ain't gonna help.
That's
you
facts.
get that. You get the victim who completely just says, you know what, fuck y'all, just because you ask questions.
Their
that
boyfriend
you have to
apologized, dude. Their boyfriend apologized, and he's a great
He's
guy.
And yeah, or that.
It's fine.
And it's so frustrating. You're like, why did you call the cops? Why did you call us? If you didn't want our help, why did you call us? You know, and you're gonna get that. And unfortunately, you still have to answer those calls. You still got to be professional. And if you've got to tell them a process, you've got to tell them to, even if they don't want to know.
And I'll say this: you don't owe it to the people you're serving to be professional. You owe it to the other cops that have to come to that call after.
Yes.
That was the biggest mind change. And again, it was post 2020 that I really understood this. To be honest.
Yeah.
I stopped trying to be nice because I was trying to be nice to some of the people. Because honestly, there were some of those people that I was like, I can't with y'all. It's like the 100th time I've seen you in a year.
Yeah, but there was no being professional with them at that point with any officer. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But it was I kept it in the back of my mind that it's going to keep me off the news. It's going to keep this off of World Star, and it's going to save the next officer that shows up. So.
Yeah, and that's the biggest thing. I don't know how many calls I've been to where someone's called the cops. It's like the second or third time they've called. I come out there, and the first thing out of their mouth is, the last cop did anything completely unprofessional.
My favorite is, why did it take you so long to get here?
Oh,
I hate that.
Well, and it's like a criminal mischief.
Yes.
Like they got toilet papered or something like that.
Yeah.
They're like, what is this?
Yeah.
But I've definitely shown up on the back end of some calls where another officer just dicked it, and now I'm here hearing them complain about this and getting more and more mad, not at the person because they have a legitimate reason to be mad, but at the officer that came out and has now left this pile of shit in my lap.
Yeah,
that's a good way to describe it.
If we aren't demonetized yet, just because I can get this out there, because we probably are, if you're that cop, fuck you.
Thank you.
Yeah. I won't apologize for that either. You're worse than admin.
You are worse than admin.
That's saying something.
That's a fact.
We don't have any more clips. We don't have anything else we got to go look at.
That is it. It's about to be my bedtime, boys.
So I first shout out to Michael. This is our Patreon Michael supporter. He came into the chat so we can go make fun of all of these clips here. Well, not make fun of some of these are kind of sad, but we will be going live tomorrow. I haven't decided what game we're going to be playing. If Boom 11 or Mr. Martinez has their VR headset, then we'll be playing Phasmophobia. But
I should be getting a VR headset tomorrow.
Yeah.
Oh,
if we do that, then that's what we'll be doing. If not, we're probably looking at Halo Infinite or something like that. But we're going live probably around 7-ish, kind of like normal on our Tuesdays. Our TikTok is down for any of you that have made it this far. Our TikTok, or it's there, but we can't have access to it.
We get no access.
Y'all are in jail.
Yeah, so we might be in
jail.
perma jail. Yeah, I think we're past jail. I think we have a life sentence now.
I think
so
we're out. We got canceled.
Yeah. Hey, what's up, Jacob?
It happened. We got canceled.
Yeah, we got a flex for Jacob here.
What?
Flex for Jacob. So
nerds.
Nerd.
I'm only doing it because it's like, if anyone's still watching it, 2 hours.
Hey man, I'm impressed. I'm about it. So anyways, we're going to be going live tomorrow. We're going to be playing some sort of Let's Play. So if you guys want to join us then, we can do that. We're going to try to make going like Tuesdays kind of our day to do that. We have, I believe we're going to try to film Die Hard before Christmas so we can release a Die Hard special.
Kristen, movie.
It is a Christmas movie.
I have an outfit for that.
So we're gonna see if we can get that film by then. We have our Darman videos are apparently on the slate to be released. Our energy drinks review is allegedly going to be released. That's a Juan thing. Ask him, don't ask us.
Hey, he said it's coming out on Wednesday, or it's scheduled for Wednesday, so we'll see.
So that'll be coming out, and then next week we have some more stuff planned. We'll be going live as well. Check us out on Patreon. We have some more Patreon stuff coming out for you, Michael.
Just you, Michael. It's just you.
I know. Y'all need to get on the
over-
Patreon bandwagon, people.
Yeah, so it's the way we review the comments in the Darman videos, and that we cannot release to YouTube. So that's all going on.
Was telling me about that.
Yeah, they're pretty bad. So
if you thought I was salty watching Police Academy, you should hear me reading some. Some positive affirmations for Darman.
We're gonna we're gonna do an F in the chat for Kristen not thinking that Die Hard is a Christmas movie because it is.
What other kind of movie would it be?
I know.
I don't know. Yeah.
What other genre would Die Hard be?
Yeah, it's just it's a fun Hallmark movie. Effectively, it's a romantic. It's a romantic comedy.
You're right. Yeah.
It really is. It's about a guy trying to win his wife back. I don't know what you want.
Look at that. Look at that. And she likes Hallmark movies. Look at that.
It's what I'm saying. It's a Hallmark movie.
Action. It's not It's not an action movie. It's a Christmas hero movie. He's a heroic Christmas savior.
Yeah.
You know what? He's Santa Claus. Okay.
He's better than Santa Claus. He saves Christmas.
Yeah.
Santa Claus doesn't save Christmas.
So anyways, we're going to try to get that filmed. Hopefully I'm not making an empty promise. We're going to try to get that filmed this week before Christmas lets it out. And then, like I said, we're going live tomorrow. Go check us out. Don't check us out on TikTok because they're keep kicking us out.
That's right.
Check us out on Patreon.
Check it out on Patreon. Like I said, we have extended versions of what we have where we say some things we probably couldn't get away with on YouTube. And if you guys have any suggestions, put it in the comments below or put it in the comment section of the video once it posts.
Why don't you tell them what the cheapest Patreon sub is?
I'm pretty sure it's $1.
Yeah.
Is it $1?
Should be $1.
I'm pretty sure it's $1.
Yeah.
So
just for $1, you can get access to all that nice Patreon,
all that sweet goodness.
Yeah. Sweet merch. And
we're out here working for dollars, bro.
Hey, man.
Yeah, behind the scenes content.
Yeah, me and that stripper rookie over there, we're working for nothing.
Bro, she's making more money than we are. Let's be honest.
Really is, yeah. So, if you have suggestions for stuff you want us to react to, if you want to add to this little queue of stuff that we react to periodically on these Officers Reacts, always just send us a message on Instagram. It's where we keep all that stuff. And then movies, obviously, give suggestions for those. And games that you want to play, give suggestions. We have Halo Infinite. Phasmophobia currently. We're looking at SWAT 4. I think we have to get BattleNet to do that. So if that's something you guys are interested in doing, I think it's cheap. I think it's like $5 or $10.
It's super cheap, and if you get it
so
right player, it's worth it. It's a good
yeah. So OCFT is going to be going that route if we can get it, and then we'll be doing some other stuff as we move on. So I appreciate everyone that stayed with us in this chat. We're up to like 8 now, which I'm impressed with.
Yeah,
they all showed up at the end. It's because I flexed.
It's because he flexed. That's what it is.
That's exactly what it is.
We've got the simps are coming into the chat now.
Wait till you see my Christmas outfit.
It wasn't because of Josh flexing.
No, it was not my flex. It was Bill's.
Yeah, it was Bill's.
So catch us next time. Again, catch us tomorrow. We're going to be back out here again. And then, like I said, boom, I'm holding you accountable. If you do bring that VR headset and you're ready, we will be playing Phasmophobia tomorrow. So,
boom, you got a lot of pressure.
You guys have a wonderful rest of your week if we don't see y'all. And we will see you guys soon. So thank you for riding 2-man with us. And peace.
Subscribe to Patreon.
And subscribe to Patreon, buttholes.